research. The main keyword for the main page, as well as your domain name, need to be relatively general. Okay, what I mean by that is, if we look at this example, the main keyword for this main page is easy piano songs. It's also in the domain. Okay, the reason why it's more of a general keyword is because it still is going to do what it needs to be it needs to do what it needs to do. In other words, it's still going to get a lot of traffic. We still did the research on it, but when we're making the main page keyword here, we want to kind of create an umbrella, if you will, for all of the other keywords that are going to be within the site. So when I say easy piano songs here, right, then it's pretty simple to use other keywords that we do the research for that are within the blanket of easy piano songs. Okay, like for instance, if my main page keyword was kids piano lessons online, that means that all of these keywords would have to do with kids piano lessons. So it would be more difficult to do that. Whereas easy piano songs, you can almost do anything that points to pianos and piano lessons and etc., and it would work. Okay, I hope that's clear. Here's an example. Niche tattoos, main page keyword, masculine tattoos, internal pages like alternate keywords, tribal arm tattoos, back tattoos, rib tattoos, etc., because all of those tattoos are under the umbrella of the masculine tattoos, which is the main keyword for the main page. Okay, so then using your favorite keyword research tool, the keywords must have at least 800 searches per month, exact match. And if you're using the new keyword planner by Google, they only use exact match now. But if you're using Market Samurai or some other tool, make sure it's exact match. Okay, and then have manageable competition within the search engines. Let's just say 30,000 results or less in Google when searched for in quotes, meaning let's say that you were looking for keywords and you found easy piano songs. Well, the keyword research tool will tell you, okay, it's got at least 800 searches a month, but if you search for this keyword in Google using quotes, you want the results to be 30,000 or less. Okay. Now, I also use a tool called Traffic Travis for competition analysis, but we'll get back to that later on. Okay. Again, I build the websites using WordPress.org. I do this because it's simple and it's easier than building a static web page, which you would need to use HTML or CSS. Most people don't know how to do that, so WordPress is a much easier solution. Okay. When I build a site, I use a theme that has a left column sidebar and set it up to look like a regular website as opposed to a blog, like I was talking about before. For example, I take out page tabs and any unnecessary widgets, etc. So when you're looking at this theme, and just for those of you who don't know, a theme basically is something that gives you the design of the website. But as you can see, it's not very exciting, but it works. Okay, it's a very simple header, so people don't get distracted. You've got the links on this side. Here's the left sidebar. You've got your content. That's it. Okay, but these websites work like you wouldn't believe. All right. I then create a page to use as my main page, like we talked about before. I go into the dashboard of the blog, which is your back office for WordPress, and under settings I choose reading. Then I pick the page I just created to be a static page, so it's going to be my front page. Okay, so again, if you guys don't understand WordPress too much yet, when you get these notes, you can read through them at your leisure and you'll understand as you read it. Okay, but basically what you're doing is you're creating pages within WordPress instead of posts, and when you actually go within your dashboard, okay, and under settings, which would be on the left hand side, you would choose reading, okay, as your selection, and then you actually have the ability to pick any page that you've already created and make it a static page. So make it the front page so it looks like a website instead of making post after post so it looks like a blog. Okay? And as you find your keywords, you will then create pages, more pages, that would be clickable links using anchor text HTML within text widgets to be placed in the left sidebar of the site. So that's what you're doing to create these links, or you can use the menu feature within WordPress to create these links. Either way, all they're doing is basically allowing them to be clickable so that you can go to internal pages. And again, we don't have too much time, guys, so if I'm going too quickly, get these notes and you can go through these one at a time. If there's anything that you don't understand about some of these directions, just Google it, okay? You'll figure this stuff out. It's not difficult. So once you create your site, you should have a very clean site, basic like I showed you, that has 20 plus pages of content that is linked to with the keywords on the left-hand side of the page that are visible to your visitor no matter what page they happen to be visiting on your site. Okay? And I go on to say all my websites are ranked 1 through 5 on Google for all their target keywords, pages included. 85% plus of my traffic comes directly from Google. The rest comes from people or online entities that have linked through to my site. So that happens without you even doing it. But most of it comes from the search engines because all of your keywords / pages are going to be ranking on the front page of Google so that you can get all of that organic traffic. Okay? So that's basically how the sites are set up. Now, here are the qualities that each site recommend or that each of these sites has. Okay? They all target, and I think I said this before, but they all target between 5 and 10 different products per site. So let's say that you really like WordPress, you really like ClickBank as an affiliate network and you like promoting those products. Well, you should have at least 5 to 10 of those products that you are listing or promoting on the site. In other words, let's say this site here, on some pages I might be promoting Rocket Piano, which is one of the products. On another page I might be promoting a different ClickBank product. Okay, so do about 5 to 10 of those. All right. I recommend both informational products and physical products. The difference is ClickBank products are informational, meaning they're not tangible. You can't touch them or feel them. Okay, and physical products, that's pretty self-explanatory, but things that can actually get shipped to somebody that they can use and touch and feel. Now there are pros and cons for each. Informational products require more of a pre-sell. So in order to be more persuasive, your content needs to be at least 500 to, I have 750 here, but let me change that to 850. 850 words per page, okay? Because you basically have to do a lot more pre-selling when somebody can't touch or feel something, okay? Now physical products, by contrast, are great because you don't have to say as much and the competition is usually more manageable, meaning that physical products, like if you go to Amazon, what do you see? You see an image, you see maybe some benefits, and you see some testimonials. But that's it. Because model numbers or product brands are their own searchable keywords. So people, if they know that model number or that brand, they already know what product they want. So they don't need to see much, maybe some testimonials and stuff, for them to buy the product. Okay? So in building these sites, my goal is to be #1 in Google. In fact, the power of the system is that all of the pages within your site have the ability to be #1 in Google, so you can only imagine what type of traffic conversions that will bring with it, okay, like we discussed earlier. When done properly, 10% or more of your pages will rank on the first page of Google without you doing anything extra at all. I have found, however, I'm sorry, I can't even read, to get to #1 for everything, backlinking is key. Okay, now that's a whole nother webinar. All right, but keep in mind that, again, when you build these websites, let's say it's 30 pages, what I'm saying here is usually about 10 of those pages will rank on the first page of Google because you're doing everything correctly in building those websites. Okay, and the pages that don't, you basically have to do some off-page SEO or off-page optimization to be able to make sure that all of those pages rank so that these websites work like they're supposed to. Okay? In the beginning, I wrote all the content for my sites and my backlinking I did on my own. Okay? At this point, I outsourced almost all of my work in order to spend more time driving my business forward. Okay. My online business strategy, which again is Mobs, is an awesome business model that really works. And again, to the tune of 6 figures annual for me. It could be a lot more, but I just, again, before moving to another income stream, I just take it to 100,000 or better. And some people might think about costs. The great thing about this model is that for the cost of one domain name, usually about $10 a year, and the cost of hosting, which is roughly about $14 a month unless you pay more in advance, you can set this entire business model up. Okay, so it's not expensive to do it. It's just a matter of production. I always tell my students, once you actually have a business model that works, it's just about you producing more and more, because the more stuff you've got, the more money that you bring in, right? Another note here is I know most of you guys have a hosting company, and most of you hopefully have a hosting company that allows unlimited add-on domains. So basically, let's say that you're paying the $14 a month for your hosting company, right? You can continue to add domains, so build as many websites as you want for no additional cost, except for the domain cost, okay? So you build websites, for $10 a year, basically, in the domain purchases, okay? Now, there's a lot of little incidental things that some of you guys might not understand, or you don't have the knowledge in going forward with at this point. So for those of you who don't understand some things about WordPress and this and that, that's fine. And again, if you contact me, I will give you some more details of the things that you're specifically not familiar with, okay? So don't worry too much about that. This is just, again, a very general overview of this particular process. And again, if you go to websitemarketingstrategies.net, if you contact me using that blue contact button on the left-hand side, I will send you these notes within 24 to 48 hours and answer any specific questions that you might have. Now, I am very, very busy, as you guys probably know, so if I don't get back to you, with a really, really thorough answer, I'll do the best that I can over time, okay? So unless you actually pay for outsourcing, those are the only costs besides your time investment involved in this process. And like I said, really the sky's the limit for this. You can take this to wherever you want to be. I know a lot of people who make tons and tons and tons of money doing this, multimillionaires that have a lot, hundreds, sometimes thousands of these websites up, and they're all bringing in money religiously, okay, literally just on autopilot, okay? So I just have a couple minutes, guys, before the end of the webinar, and I want to open it up to some questions. I hope there's not too many, because I'm not going to be able to get to all of them, okay? But go ahead and type them in, and I'll see if I can answer some of these questions, okay? Okay. Hang on, guys. Okay, Ryan asks, how do you do pages or posts? Do you make each keyword a page, and do you also write posts? Good question. No, I don't write posts. I basically only write pages, and basically, let's say, for instance, you're looking at this website here. For Elise, sheet music would be the actual keyword. Okay, and then when you actually create this page, the content that you're writing is completely revolved around for Elise sheet music. In other words, that's the keyword that you're optimizing for that page. Okay? But no posts on these sites. Okay, let's see. Will that make your sites lag if you have too many sites on one IP? No, it won't. From my experience, I don't have any issue with lag on sites. Typically, what's making your sites lag these days are really just too many images and or videos, although I use both on these sites. A kind of a side note with that is if you are, if you have a hosting company, not that this has ever happened to me, but you hear about this. I don't usually put more than 25 domains on a hosting company just in case, for whatever reason, my hosting company decided to shut me down for whatever reason. I don't put all my eggs in one basket. Again, that hasn't happened to me, but just in case. Somebody says, what are some of the domain companies that allow add-on? I think that you mean hosting companies. And to be honest with you, I don't know. I use HostGator specifically because I love them. I've never had any issues with them. So I kind of, use blinders and just kind of use them only. Where do you get your themes? That's a good question. Usually I use free themes as far as, these money sites. I go into WordPress, and when you're adding themes, I simply go with themes that are very simple, are very clean like this, okay, and that have the ability to have a left sidebar. It literally is that simple, okay? What's a good company to use for outsourcing? Oh boy, there's a lot of different companies that I use for outsourcing. It depends on what you're using outsourcing for. If you want to use outsourcing for writing, I use iWriter.com quite a bit. And as far as other outsourcing goes, I use odesk.com quite a bit. I also use elance.com. And I also use Fiverr, believe it or not, quite a bit for all types of different stuff. Somebody's asking if PLR content is okay. Well, here's my opinion on that. You can almost always use PLR content on websites. However, after the latest algorithm changes, Google and the other search engines seem to like original content best. So, if you don't like to write, or if you don't have the time, or you don't have the money to outsource, you can spin your articles or you can spin your content, but it has to be like over 75%, and that's what I found works best for Google these days. Somebody's asking what the cost is for WordPress. WordPress doesn't cost anything. It's just a matter of you buying the domains. Somebody's asking, I was wondering if writing a little post with the topic and linking to the page would help. You can do that. However, with this particular design, I don't do that. Not to say it doesn't work. I've created different websites doing that. But with this type of model, this is what works best for me. Okay? Somebody's asking, do you put AdSense on your sites? That's a really good question, and my answer is no, because when you use AdSense, you have to have tons and tons of sites to make any money with AdSense at all. So I don't go for the pennies. I go for, since I'm doing the research and I know that these keywords are highly searched for, and I know that I can rank for them, I don't go for the little stuff because I know that I can generate traffic and money. Okay? Somebody asks, is WordPress free? Yes, it is. Why the left sidebar instead of the right sidebar? That's a great question. The reason is, very simply, people read from left to right, and yes, I've tested them all. I've tested all the processes. I've tested both. I've tested right only, and left sidebar by far works the best. This question is pretty peripheral to that last one. Do you see that the left sidebar is getting you more conversions as opposed to a typical right sidebar? Yes. When you outsource, do they put it on your site? I assume that you mean the content. And if so, how do you give them your login info? I don't typically give outsourcers my login info because, I don't like to be hacked, and it's happened to me before where I've had my stuff hacked. So what I typically do is if somebody's writing content for me, they'll get me that content back, and I'll just simply copy and paste the content back into the site. Okay? All right, guys, that's going to be it for the questions tonight. I appreciate your time, and I hope this is very helpful for you. Like I said, take this system and run with it, and you will absolutely make lots of money with it, okay? And if you need any of the notes from this evening, again, go to websitemarketingstrategies.net, and I'll be sure to send you that stuff, okay? Guys, have a great week. I appreciate your time. Again, this is Gary Gregory signing off.